Welcome to Bob Elliot's Music Makers and another episode of Generations in Music. And for this episode, we have the amazing guitarist Jim Bones, or Jimmy Bones.
Jimmy Bones.
Jimmy Bones. That's why I asked. I like to get your name. So that's a good question for me. How did you get that name?
Jimmy Bones? Well, you know, my name's Jimmy, of course, and as a kid, I thought it would be cool to spell it like Hendrix, even though I play nothing like him.
Okay.
You know, nobody does, but I always like Jimi, right? And then my real last name, which I won't tell you, started with a K, so I was known as Jimmy K.
Okay.
Right, in Baltimore.
Okay.
Okay, then I came to New York, had a band called Skin and Bones, and my producer started calling me Jimmy Bones. I'm like, that's not my name. So he kept calling me this Jimmy Bones, introducing me, and then it stuck. Now people like saying it. Now it's Jimmy K. Bones.
Amazing. That is a great story.
There's actually a story behind it.
There's a real story, and it's like that. Those are interesting things because you hear it, and nobody ever says, "Hey, your mother didn't call you Bones. I probably didn't name you Bones at the end."
No,
of the day.
not
So
really. And plus,
and it's a great rock name.
It's like, and they always say Skin and Bones. What does that mean? It's like, well, I've been hearing it my whole life. You're nothing but skin and bones.
Skinny. Yeah, that makes sense. Look it. Yep, you are.
So I'm Jimmy K. Bones.
Jimmy K. Bones. Well, welcome, Jimmy K. Bones, to
Thank you.
Generations in Music. Jimmy's played with countless people, like from Willie Niles, Blondie, Joan Jett, Katrina and the Waves, Kicks, all kinds of different great names. And he's done tracks for Monday Night Football with Hank Williams Jr., produced records, Mark Duda, producer, Jonas Brothers' first record, you were on that too?
Yeah, I did.
I met the Jonas Brothers. They seem to be pretty cool guys, especially in the early days.
They're a good bunch of kids.
They were a good bunch of kids?
They were like 10 when I met them.
They were 10?
It was their first record. They didn't even have a name yet.
No, really?
Yeah.
Really? How did that come about?
Mike Mangini, the producer, and my friend Steve Greenwell was the engineer, and they said, we have this new group of kids. Their father has them as 3 young boys, and they're going to be like the next big thing. And they're like, we don't know what sound it's going to be. We want a little bit of that Green Day vibe in it, a little bit of pop and stuff like that. So we want you to come in and play guitar on it. So I said, okay.
Wow.
And I met them in the studio, and they're showing me their new guitars. They're like kids, and they're like, Dad, can we stay and watch him play? They're like, no, kids, come on, let's go.
What? Really?
They took them out while I did my guitar tracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an amazing. Did you stay with them, or you just did the recording?
I did the recording.
And then they just went on.
I did about 6 or 8 songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're on their first album. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So there you go. There's part of it.
S-Curve Records, yeah, I think it was.
Really?
Which was released by Columbia. Yeah, it was their first record.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you do a lot of studio work back during your time involved in music? Have you done?
Of course. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Really?
Studio work, yeah. I like being in the studio because you can create magic in there and take your time and come up with really cool ideas. I mean, playing live is great. It's a lot of fun. But it's a little bit more work, I think. I mean, being in the studio, you can sit there and you really work on your sound, you try different guitars, and then you're working with different stuff, trying to make this song that you're given come to life.
Really? And do you get direction? Like every situation must be different.
If there's a producer, they're going to either tell you what to play or ask you what you would play.
Really?
Yeah.
How hard is it to come up with stuff, I guess, that you really have to have some...
It just comes from somewhere.
Yeah, really. And it's just years of experience
I'm
will bring...
working with my buddy Mark Duda, working on his 3rd record now. And we'll be in the studio, and he's like, you got that look. And I'm like, I got an idea. He's like, uh-oh. Calls me an evil genius. So go figure.
That's nice.
But I'll just think, I'll be listening, and I'm like, something will come to me. I'm like, oh, I have a cool idea.
Really?
Let's put this, Rickenbacker 12-string on it and get this kind of Nirvana sound. That'll sound really cool in the verse.
Right.
And we do it, and he's like, wow, that's really cool.
Really?
Yeah, so we'll try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right. So it's just a matter of being open, but you have to have skill sets. Yeah, you have to have skills because you just can't just go in. So your years of experience give you the set of skills to be able to produce a different sound, different ideas.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're doing the guitars, you're doing them later. Like they'll record the bass, the drums, maybe a rhythm guitar with that or a piano, and they put down a scratch vocal, and then there's a day, okay, you're coming in tomorrow to do guitars. So I set up 20 guitars, 10 amps, bunch of pedals, and then I just start going, okay, for this track, ends up being 6 to 12 tracks of guitars on each record.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I kind of intermingle them like that, most people do.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, okay, this guitar with that amp for this side, then I want to double it with this guitar and that amp for this side, and that should work together. Then I want some clean guitars on the chorus, and for this weird little picking sound, I want to play through a Leslie.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you learn like all of this? Is it just years of being in studios?
A couple years.
A couple. When did you I might have asked you this before, but when did you get started? Like, and where did you start?
At birth.
Did you come out playing the guitar?
Yeah, my mom was very annoyed.
Really?
Put that thing down.
Really? I guess the doctors were a little surprised.
Yeah, what is that?
What is that he's carrying?
I started at like around 11.
11?
My dad played country music sitting around the house and had a guitar. My mom would sing, doing the dishes. It was very cute.
So that was a nice musical household.
Yeah. I mean,
So that
they liked
really
country music, you know, which I hated, but
it sunk in, I guess, some of it.
It's American pop music, I guess you call it.
Yeah, it's true. It's coming. It really is American music that the world appreciates.
Yeah, they do.
Some of us don't think it's like it's folk music for us.
No, you know, it's all everything comes from something.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Mixing things together.
Did you study like different genres, because rock has a certain background that you need to know?
Well, that was my favorite. You know?
Right.
You know, I first started playing guitar. I was in California, and I was in, I don't know, 6th grade or something, and everybody was listening to Alice Cooper and Iron Butterfly and all this cool stuff.
Right.
It's California.
Yeah.
They weren't listening to the Beatles. They were listening to that cool
so
stuff.
you were out in California. That where you grew up? Some of
It
it.
was one of the places.
Oh, you will travel. Okay.
Yeah, military kid.
But that's what you so California does have a different.
It has, the West Coast is definitely a different thing. They're
Right.
definitely a little more twisted, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. It would
You know,
be, right?
it
With
was-
the,
yeah, Alice Cooper instead of the Beatles. You know?
That's twisted. There's a different.
So like, I can play more Alice Cooper songs than I can Beatles songs.
Really?
I hate to admit it.
That's okay. I mean, we all have to learn. It got you where you are today,
I
so
mean,
it
now
didn't. I
play
guess it
try
served
to
you
play
well.
Everything, yeah. But that's the kind of stuff I like. I like a little darker music.
Yeah.
You know, the Aerosmith, the Zeppelins, AC/DC, that hard rock stuff.
I think a lot of us that grew up in that era loved. That was major music for us.
I mean, I've listened to more Beatles and, you know, stuff like that, and the band and stuff like that recently because of playing with Willie Nile. He's more about that style of music. And I love that too. It's great.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Dylan songs are amazing.
I know. You know, I see, and this is something. Do you think maturity in music, the more you grow and experience music, the more you have an appreciation for stuff that you might not have appreciated?
I do. Yeah. When I was younger, it's like you like what you like, and everything else sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I don't like that, so it sucks.
Right.
You know, it's like in Baltimore, I'm in high school, disco sucks.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, disco sucks, and, you know, I want to listen to Pink Floyd and Skinner, you know.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, to play Nile Rodgers style, you know, guitar licks are great.
Yeah, there you go.
I learned to like it because it's something different and it's really cool. But
Yeah.
you know, you open your mind. You can only play that kind of music for so long. It's like, I want to try something else.
I think that's a good topic, is how you adapt styles, because they will help you, it seems like, as a guitarist myself, to be able to adapt something new into your playing, and your, even if it's a rock song, it gives you a technique that gives you a different sound.
The better disco player you are, the better your rock playing becomes.
It's rhythm, right?
It teaches you rhythms and different chord progressions, not progressions, but different voicings, and making guitars sound a little different. So it's not just your basic, you know, that's, of course, that's fun.
Right.
You know, but playing that also, you know, playing like Nile Rodgers, who I think is fabulous.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
of course,
I agree.
he's a legend. Is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's something for guitarists that I've picked up, was that right hand, you know, ticking like a clock.
Yeah,
Tick,
I mean,
tick,
you
tick,
can sit
tick.
there and practice scales for days and days and days and days. But the big joke is when you go into the studio, you start playing the stuff, and they said, "What, are you getting paid by the note?"
Right, exactly.
Now, write me, you know, play a part that somebody wants to hear.
So learning the different styles for you has given you a chance to be able to put that into, as needed, your different bands and different.
When I'm doing a song, I might be like, okay, well, you know, I'm working on the Mark Duda song. I'm like, okay, I like this rhythm. It sounds kind of Foo Fighters-ish. It sounds a little like Stone Temple Pilots, a little bit like The Cult. But then I want this, I'm working on this song today, and I'm like, okay, I'm putting this part in, it sounds like The Cure. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. That works against it.
Wow.
Kind of a nice soup, you know?
Right.
And we'll see if everybody likes it. If not, I'll try something different.
Do you do that with a major artist, where they come in? I guess everyone is different, but are you allowed to, in some cases, express yourself into these stamped songs?
You have to be what they are. You can't, like an established artist,
Explain that,
if you're
yeah.
playing with Katrina, I can't go in and play like Van Halen.
Right, right.
You know, I have to play like Katrina music. You know?
Okay, but-
and her song is going to sound like, you know, her biggest hit worldwide, you know, Walking on Sunshine.
Right.
So it's got to be along those lines. She's not reinventing herself.
Right.
That's her sound. So I have to make myself sound like that, but now.
And real, so you can modernize it, but it sounds like the
Yeah,
recording.
sometimes I go too far, and they're like, nah, that's too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and they'll tell me, say, no, I like that, and I say, how about this? That I like.
Okay, so every
They'll guide
artist
you.
is
They'll
different.
Guide you like
They'll
that,
guide you.
I hate that. I love that.
Do you find that some artists come out and say, let's try something different with their songs through your different tours and different when they're touring, like from what the radio has played and but they want to do
Well, they
something?
call making it your own, you know.
Really?
They're like, okay, take the idea of the solo that's there on the record, but you don't have to learn it note for note for note. You know, it's like
Really?
learn the little pieces that they remember, the beginning, the end, the middle. Now make it your own.
Oh, so they give
And
you...
we're going to do it 3 times as long. So go nuts.
Really? What?
But don't get too notey. Don't get too shreddy. you
Right.
know?
Wow, that's interesting to
You know,
hear
stay
that
along
from...
the lines of what it is and play that, but play it longer. Like, oh, double the solo, keep going. Willie does it all the time.
Really?
Willie's like, keep going, keep going. I'm like, I just played the solo that was on the record. Okay, I'll keep going.
Really? So that must feel really like exciting to put your stamp on it on a stage
Sometimes,
with
but
all
then
these
he'll
people.
just go. Sometimes I'm like playing solo. I'm like, are we done yet? I was like, okay, I've ran out of ideas. Can we end the song, please, and move on? You know,
So everything
I don't
is different.
Say that, of course.
No,
but
no.
It's like a joke, kind of.
Right,
It's
yeah,
like,
of
okay,
course.
I'm done.
But
So
then
what I'll go back into the rhythm and look at him like, hey, knock it off.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we have a lot of fun on stage. It's very easygoing, and
Right.
we have a lot of fun that way.
And does that happen with most artists, or everyone
Everybody's
is different,
different.
and everything?
Everybody's different.
Some of it's to the
Yeah.
spot on. This
Yeah.
is how we're
Joan
going to
Jett,
do
I
it.
had to play dead on. They
Dead
want it to sound
every
like the
time.
record. As close as I could possibly get it.
Really?
Because people want to hear I Love Rock and Roll, they want to hear that solo.
Yeah, I mean, that's their signature sauce. Like, that's
Yeah,
the
that's
key.
it. They want to hear that. If you change that, they're like, that ain't right.
No, yeah, I get it. I remember one of my friends was saying that he was in Japan doing a thing with somebody, and he was like, I think they're judging us. I was waiting for the judge's sign to come up, and that was a 10. Oh, that was an 8.5.
Plus, there's always, the 3 guitar players in the audience going, that ain't right.
That
That
is-
ain't right. You didn't play that right. I'm like, I'm up here, you're down there. Shut up.
There you go. There's a reason I'm
Come
up
see
here.
you in your band, see how you do.
Wow. So you do get some liberty, and that must be fun
Sometimes,
in certain
yeah.
circumstances.
I like to play it true to, play as written.
as written, and that's
I like to
probably
do that as much as I can, or sometimes they're like, okay, we're going to extend this song 5 minutes, go nuts, and we're going to come back and hit the chorus again. We're going to do a big audience breakdown. That's the live version. So let's have fun with it. Okay, cool.
Really.
Yeah.
That must be an experience. What's it like up on those stages for those who have never experienced something like that, to have that sound all around you and the audience and the thing? It's
A lot of times it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's tiring.
is it?
If it's like some days you don't feel well.
Okay.
You're a little tired. You just drove 6 hours. You're on stage, and you got 8 songs to go, and you're like, okay.
Whoa, yeah.
Okay.
But-
I gotta pee.
So how do you psych yourself up? What do you do? Like, is there
Just
the
say-
tricks you
say,
use?
knock
that-
off the whining to myself and just get it done.
Get it done.
Stop
Good
being
for
a
you.
little
Like,
jackass.
you really just go. You just get
That was
into
your
it.
problem. You get to play guitar. Shut up.
There you go. You got it. Put a good attitude on,
Yeah.
because not everybody's
I
going to
usually
get
have,
up on
have
it.
fun and just
And
give
see,
it all.
you don't-
I give it all I got.
You don't seem like the kind of guy that's going to go up and dial it in.
No. If I'm up there, I get to do this. This is fun.
Yeah, it's
I'm
got
lucky, I'm
to. It's
grateful.
got to be. So, what's the current stuff that you're working on now that you can tell us
Getting ready to go
about?
into a studio with Willie. We've got a couple of the songs in the can. He just went to Italy for a couple weeks to hang out with his wife and hang out in the Italian Alps.
Nice.
Drink wine.
You can-
He'll be back at the end of October. We're going to go into the studio in early November, I think, to finish the record. We're doing a song that he wrote with the Hooters called Washington's Day. He wrote all the lyrics to. We're going to redo a version of that.
Really?
So we got a couple of guys from the Hooters coming in the studio with us for that song.
Great.
That should be fun. I'm working on Mark Duda's new record. I've been working on it all year. He's coming in October to my house to do some vocals, and we'll see where we're at. I think we got about 10 songs done.
Right.
Maybe have a couple more. I'm working on new songs for our kids show.
Oh yeah, let's talk more about the kids show, because that's pretty
Haven
cool
Kids
things.
Rock. It's a
What's that again? Say it out so we
Haven
can get
Kids Rock.
HavenKidsRock.com.
Yeah, it's a program that me and my wife have done together, Nefertiti Jones, for the past 16 years. I think
Really?
since 2006, 2008. And for the last 5 or 6 years, we've written off-Broadway shows.
Really?
And now we have a new one called Sugar and Stone, the Candy Chronicles.
The Candy Chronicles. How old are these kids?
Well, we just lost a lot of our kids. Not lost them, but they went off to college.
Oh, they're at
We had them
that
since
age.
they were 9 and 10. Watched them grow up, and we got about 5 of them into college,
Really?
into Purchase and a few other colleges. I mean, they're still coming over our house. One was there yesterday. I got a new song. I'm like, okay.
Really?
18 and 19.
How does the Haven Kids Rock work? Like, how do you audition? Is it
We get most of our kids from Haven Academy, which is in the South Bronx, a school designed for at-risk kids in the foster care welfare system. You know, and designed it to be a program for kids who can't afford to go to School of Rock. We get donations from our friends, the Shearer Foundation in the Hamptons, and several other people, and we raise money, and it keeps it going. We have some teachers, we have directors, we have choreographers, and then my wife and I, we do all the music at my
Amazing.
house in the studio.
Really?
I've got a bunch of work to do as soon as I leave here.
Well, I hope the world, are you guys doing well? I mean, COVID must have put a clinker into that a little bit.
That year we did a show online.
Really?
Yeah, we did online, and every kid filmed himself. But since then, we've done a show every year at the Sheen Center, Midnight Theater. This year, we are lucky enough to, fingers crossed, do it at Alvin Ailey Theater in April.
In April.
End of April, yeah. We have 2 nights
Alvin
there.
Ailey Theater, that's
Yeah,
big
it's a cool-
time.
Yeah, you know, we find a theater that we can get, we pay for it, and then we bring the kids in, and it's like, come on kids, we're in a big theater. Like,
So how many kids have gone through your program? I mean, you're doing something for the community that's really impressive.
well, yeah, it's pretty cool. We've changed lives, which is...
Yeah, that's important today.
It
Right?
is,
You should
it
be
is.
very proud of yourself and your wife
We are.
for doing this, because not everybody can find the time in their career to stop doing what they're doing about them to move over
No,
to
it's
help.
work. Like I said, we were working on 2 or 3 songs yesterday, trying to get all the music done, because then we have to record it all, have to have the kids come and sing it,
Right.
you know, and write it for each kid and make it work in the script, rewrite on the script. Then we have our friends, art directors making the set. PRG's involved. They loved it.
Well, who's PRG?
PRG, they do all the sets and everything for so many shows. They, you know,
Really?
huge bands, Queen, Foo Fighters.
Right.
You know, so they donated a lot of stuff and made some of our set for
Isn't
us.
that's wonderful to hear, because today
It's
you
pretty
don't
cool.
hear about this
It's
stuff.
like, you know, getting
You
into
hear
like
about-
Broadway, who knew?
Yeah,
And
right.
It
Yeah,
started as a goof.
was it, whose idea was it?
It was my stupid idea. Well,
Really?
the actual program was my wife's idea. She wanted to volunteer for the New York Foundling. So they said, well, can you run a music program? So she enlisted me
Right.
back in the day and said, I need your help for 3 months.
Hmm.
That turned into now,
And it's how many years?
16, 17 years.
Really? It's
Yeah.
from that kernel of an idea.
Yeah, but as
to
far
this.
as the shows, we had taken them to see a Broadway show, and you're not allowed to do a Broadway show unless you get licensing from the Broadway show. You
Okay.
can't redo it.
All
So we
right,
said
yeah.
we want to do a Broadway show, and I said, we were out having a margarita with my wife after the day. We just got a nice donation. And said, what are we going to do with this money this year? And I said, I don't know. Why don't we write our own Broadway show? How hard can it be?
Really?
That was it.
That was it? Mm-hmm. And that's from that point you
From
just...
that point, we wrote the show. The first one was called Unstoppable. I think that's this one.
Okay, the musical.
Unstoppable, the musical. Did really well. People were interested. We went to the Sheen Center, did that 2 years. Then we rewrote the show. Unstoppable actually got signed to BMG and Dolphin Entertainment.
Really?
Yeah, we
Your
got 2
musical?
contracts out of it. So Broadway, who knew?
Your musical, you and your wife's musical
We're
is
the
going to be
musical bosses,
on
yeah.
Broadway.
Off Broadway.
Off Broadway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big
Off Broadway,
achievement.
but-
Off is still
Yeah, yeah.
anything you can get to a stage.
And it's fun to write this stuff because there's
Amazing.
no rules.
Really?
Because in Broadway, you don't have to stick to a pop format. You don't have to stick to a rock format, a hip hop format, trying to make the coolest song to get onto,
exactly.
playlists or Spotify or whatever. I take ideas from Queen. I take ideas from, like hip hop songs these days. We use hip hop beats.
Right.
Then we write like stuff on piano that sounds like real Broadway stuff. We mix it all together, and we can do whatever we want as long as it sounds like
that
a
is
fun
freedom.
song. Like I'll listen to a Disney movie, a cartoon movie. I'm like, okay, I like that song. That's pretty good. What are the changes on that?
Right. Do the kids participate other than singing, or are they
They
involved?
sometimes come up with some lyric ideas or some
yeah?
ideas about we're like, and some of the dialogue, we're older than them.
Right.
They're like, you're from the Bronx. What would you say? Would you say this? And they're like, no, we wouldn't talk that way.
So you
Like,
get them
how would you
involved.
say it? And we're like, oh, that's a little more risque.
Right.
We're like, go ahead, do it.
Wow. So are they going to be in that production off Broadway, or is it somebody? It's the kids are actually
They're in the
off
show. Yeah,
Broadway.
that's what we're working on right now. We go every Saturday, plus we work all week working on the music and everything. A little, side project turned to almost full time.
Wow.
It's not like we're doing it for a living, but it's just something we do all the time.
And so this is it's amazing a give back in life. Do you recommend that for people who've done this in the business to think about?
You can only do so much. It's like, me. I'm a rock star. After a while, you're like, hey.
Right.
Who cares?
Wow.
You made your money or you didn't, and you're having fun. You get to play your music, but do something else, and it branches your mind out. And it's fun writing these songs because, like I said, they're different. We'll come up with a hip hop beat, has a rap verse, and it goes into this pop chorus that sounds like Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift or something, and I'm like, it actually comes out really good.
Really, it just sounds exciting.
We write it ourselves and produce it ourselves.
Well, congratulations.
And some of the kids help.
Yeah, congratulations to you and your wife for doing something for the community and giving
very
back.
Cool.
It's something I'll bet you a lot of people didn't know about you, or the ones close to you know.
They always answer like, "How is he around the kids?" And they're like, "He's different."
Well, of course, and they're all different ages.
I'm like, she's like, "Mom," I'm like, "Dad."
Oh, that's awful
like, you
sweet.
have kids? I'm like, you have no idea.
Did you learn to play like you're playing? The fact that you can go into something more complicated from rock to Broadway, it means you must have a deep experience, understanding of music.
Well, like I said, I grew up on Alice Cooper.
Right.
It's very theatrical.
Right. True. That's theatrical.
You go see a show. You're not standing up there playing a song. It's a show where he would do all these different stuff.
Yeah, that's true. So that really does lend itself.
Pink Floyd,
good point.
They had stuff happening. So I take from that.
Right.
The Who, Tommy, and stuff
sure,
like that.
Sure, the more theatrical.
Elton John and all these stuff, and make it theatrical by weaving it together within the storyline. Like, all of a sudden the kid is in his place and the kid comes out singing a song about what's happening.
Right.
Your house burned down because he lives in the Bronx.
Right.
And her parents are illegal. So she sings a song about it.
Wow. That's interesting.
It's very cool.
It is. It sounds cool.
Different.
So you told us about all the stuff that you're doing. You're doing recordings. So tell us a little bit about some of these pictures, maybe that are on the screen, where they were shot, who you were doing.
With Willie about a year or so ago.
Only a year ago.
Yeah,
really?
Something like that. Yeah, that's on stage with Willie. His wife, Christina Aragoni, is an amazing photographer. That's probably at Light of Day Festival at Jersey Shore, where we do, and Bruce Springsteen sometimes shows up.
Wow.
A lot of different bands, and it's like 3 or 4 nights. It's basically a giant benefit for Parkinson's.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What a nice story behind this picture. How you would not know.
We get to play in front of 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Right.
Right before the pandemic, Bruce came on stage with us.
Really?
And I was standing.
Did you know?
We knew he was going to be there, and then at the last minute, Willie said Bruce is coming on stage with us. So we're playing, and we did 4 songs. 4th song, Bruce comes walking out. We're in Jersey Shore.
Right.
He's ballistic.
Of course.
And he comes out, and Willie puts him up front, and I'm like, I'm getting in on this.
Yeah.
So I run over to him in the middle,
sure.
and I'm standing there. We start trading licks back and forth, doing solos together. I have pictures of me and him laughing. You know,
How
because
nice.
he's not a soloist. He would play a little bit, and then I would play a solo, and I'm like, go.
Really?
And he would laugh, and he'd play a little bit, then I would play, and I'm like, go.
What a great story. I
And
mean,
we would
it's-
just laugh, and
Really?
it was
What a
fun,
nice
and everyone was
surprise.
like, you were on stage trading licks with Bruce Springsteen? I'm like, yeah, it was fun.
That must feel
Felt
pretty
like we were
cool.
in the garage, except there were 2,000 people screaming, you know?
yeah. Where did you grow up?
A military kid, so started in Pennsylvania, lived in South Carolina, lived in California, lived in Baltimore, and then I've been in New York since '87, I believe.
Not bad for a kid, huh? A military kid. A brat, as they call
It's
it.
okay.
Yeah, good
It's
for
ups and
you.
downs. Not crazy about the Carolinas.
It's okay.
California was fun.
Yeah,
Baltimore was okay,
Good.
you know, to go to high school and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
it's a little backwards these days.
Well,
but,
you know, the
But
world
the
has
actual
got
city is
different-
pretty cool. Yeah, John
something
Waters is
slow
from
down.
there.
It's definitely good for you. You've come from being a military kid and getting through all of this. Congratulations, and
Thanks.
meeting these people and on stages with some of the
Thank
best
you.
musicians
yeah,
in the
you got to
world.
mix it up. Can't just do this.
Yeah,
I don't understand musicians
you've-
who do the same thing over. This is how I play. This is the only thing I'm going to do. I'm like, after 30 years of that, aren't you bored?
Right.
Yes, you're very good at that. Try something else. It's, you know.
Hey, my producer's looking over here at me, David. He says, do you want to play something? What would you like, maybe part of your new song, one of your new songs you're working on?
Oh, I don't even know how they go yet.
Oh, so they're still in the
Still
middle
working
of
on
it.
them. Oh, I could play one of the new Mark Duda songs. Like, maybe-
There you go, something just to have some fun with the music. We don't,
Yeah.
maybe we can probably do it with the pickup, an acoustic version of it. Does
Yeah,
that work for
sure.
you? Like it.
That's the chorus.
Excellent job. That
Preview
that
of the
guitar
newest one,
sounds
I'm
great.
working on it.
Yeah.
Even by itself, it's pretty cool.
It is. It's acoustically. It came across well on the mics. We got that? Excellent. So anyway, you know, it's been great having the great Jimi Bones here on Generations in Music. We're going to wrap it up. Hopefully come back again after the album is done, play some cuts of that, and tell us some more of your great stories on your stage.
Don't forget the disco. Oh, freak out.
There you go. Rock guitarist that can play disco. Oh, freak out. All right, everybody. Coming from Bob Elliot's Music Makers, Generations in Music. Tell your friends about us, musicmakersny.com, and tell them to look up Jimi Bones and all the great things he's doing. And we will see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, man. That was great again.
Thanks.